Hello, guys. Welcome to the Goodell Multiverse. We're here going to do our branch point breakdown of Daredevil Season 2, Episode 4.
Yes, we are really excited for this. So what are your first initial thoughts? Spoiler warning, by the way. And if you're just joining us for the first time, we do have an audio version of the podcast. You can hear full episode. If you're just watching this clip, we have a full video episode we're uploading too. So please keep track of that. Like and subscribe and comment. It really helps us out with the algorithm and gets us out there. And yes, spoiler warning for Daredevil Born Again Season 2, Episode 4 on our branch point breakdown. So, what are your initial thoughts?
So my initial thoughts, I liked this episode. This was a very good episode. Its cinematography is great, which isn't something we've ever had a hard time with this show so far. This is definitely keeping my interest. I love the opening fight scene when he kicks when Bullseye kicks the crap out of those agents. I like the violence that it has set up. I have concerns about how big and grand this situation is getting. Other than that, I'm enjoying it a lot. I think they're taking some big swings, which makes me think, don't be surprised, folks, if Season 3 is the final season of what you're going to get out of this. I really think it will be. I don't think this show is much without both Fisk and Daredevil. I think you can have a lot of characters come in and out, but I think the minute you end Fisk's or, Kingpin's storyline, you're kind of going to get rid of the magic the show's got. And you're only going to be able to do so much with Kingpin before it's like, okay, when are we going to start repeating things? So I don't see the show having 4, 5, 6 seasons. I really don't. At least not without getting repetitive and boring. Because right now it's good. But how much of this is going to keep going? And if you build up to something big and then it doesn't really happen, that's kind of where a lot of these TV shows lose me. So I'm complaining about something that's not happening yet. I just see the formula so far. And right now we're in the middle of the formula where it always works well until what's this really going to mean? So I don't know. How do you feel about, but let's instead talk about the show as a whole. I'll say the episode was good. Lots of chances, big things to come, but it makes me worry. We're only episode 4 and it's big things to come. And it's like, boy, how big can you get, without including other characters and then not including other characters that we can't have in the shows, I guess. So what do you think, Sammy?
Well, I have a little bit of a theory about that. So what I will say is the original Netflix show, and I think this is like a general sentiment out there, and I'm not saying this in any diss at all, because I do like Season 2 of the Daredevil Netflix show, but Season 2 of that show did not involve or revolve around Kingpin. I think he appeared in one episode as like, oh, I'm still here. And then he made this grand entrance in Season 3 of that saying, you're a big boss again, like I was in the first season. A lot of people online, when they're like rating each season of Daredevil, including Born Again, they always have Season 1 of the original show, Season 3, Born Again Season 1, and then Season 2 of the original show. So I think there's an audience for the show without Kingpin. I liked Season 2 of the Netflix one, but the Season 2 of that one, it introduced us to Frank Castle for the first half, and it introduced us to Elektra and the Hand in the second half. And I found the ninja stuff in particular very riveting, because Charlie Cox got to really display his martial arts skills using those things. And obviously we're seeing the Hand to some degree return in the MCU with a Spider-Man Brand New Day. That's what it looks like. Ninjas are definitely a coming, but is it the Hand in particular? That's yet to be determined. But 95% sure it's the Hand.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I do think that the show could go on without Kingpin. I don't know how interesting for the general audience it would be, though.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that the writers are going to have to definitely tackle if they're going to continue the show and say Kingpin is done after Season 2. I don't think he's done it after Season 2 in the Born Again, by the way, guys. Whatever's going to happen at the end of this season, it's got to be something pretty big where they're filming the Defenders in Season 3 for a reason they have to come back. The only time that they came together as a group in the Netflix show was for the Hand. And spoiler alert for that, they end up defeating the Hand at the end of that season. So but it's now in retrospect, are they defeated as in they lost the battle but didn't win the war type thing? Or is it disbanded? That's yet to be determined. But I think that if they are planning a season 4 onward, because they're already doing season 3, that's greenlit, they're filming it, it's a done deal type of thing. I think whatever happens in season 3 that gets the Defenders together is going to be the launching point for Daredevil doing something other than fighting Fisk all the time. And so I'm curious to see exactly what that's going to entail. But regardless, going to this episode in particular, this is one of my favorite episodes of the season so far. And I'm going to make a bold statement right here that of the MCU villains, Bullseye is definitely within the top tier now. If you look at these scenes and how you see how his brain works. We saw it in season 3 of the original Daredevil show when he debuted. Great way to enter Bullseye. And I love that he's embraced this persona of Bullseye. That's one of the things I think is hard in both the MCU and in the shows, trying to be taken seriously, but also you have this comic booky name. How do you do that? How do you flesh that out? They just went full on board in this show. And it shows so well how it's just, you don't need to go into an origin of it. It's just there. His insignia is that Bullseye. He's holding that mantle. He's actually starting to look more like the comic book version of Bullseye, which I love that Marvel's been able to do, is to not make him look too silly like Batman and Robin-y, but also serious. And you could show these comic book panels on the screen and it looks good. And Marvel's been able to do that very successfully. So that makes me excited for the X-Men when they do decide to do that. But anyways, this show, fantastic. That opening scene of Bullseye drinking his milkshake and luring the task force there just to know how to take them all down. And oh my gosh, it was cinematic beauty, in my opinion, for a TV show. This is fantastic. And we need more Bullseye. He is just so good throughout the whole show. He's so good. And I love about this is that he's not Kingpin's henchman. Sometimes I think in the Ben Affleck movie, he was looked at as he was sent by Kingpin, and his origin comes from Kingpin in Daredevil season 3 of the Netflix one. But he is his own character now, where even the Kingpin doesn't want him around. And worse so, like we saw at the end of Born Again season 1, Bullseye is willing to kill Fisk and now kill Vanessa, which I did not see coming in this show. And
Fisk kind of killed Vanessa, but yeah.
I tell you what, I do like Vanessa. I'm one of those people that's like, I like their dynamic back and forth. We talked about in the last episode of their relationship and how interesting it is type thing. I did not see her death coming in this show. I did not see it. And I think that how they did it, though, was tasteful. This wasn't one of those offhanded deaths. This was one of those, like, another great scene when Fisk is boxing and he's won. Of course he's going to win. No one ever doubted that. But to see she shows up when she wasn't supposed to, he didn't want her to, and she's like, too bad I am. And it just shows the boss level mentality that she kind of is. And then to have that whole thing play out like in slow motion with everything, and it was so good. And it makes me wonder what's going to happen in the next episode, because now I said that in the beginning that Vanessa is dead. We really don't know. It looks pretty darn close that she's actually dead. But then again, this is Marvel, and this is just the end of a scene. But when you're laying there in a pool of blood, I think it's safe to assume it's not looking too good for you.
Yeah.
But anyways, I like this episode. The things that stuck out to me was that dramatic death of Vanessa and Bullseye's intense scenes. And I agree with you on the Charlie Cox, the Daredevil disguising himself thing.
Oh yeah, well, I love when he disguises himself as one of the crew there to go in and investigate the crime scene just to get his own clues. That's some smart writing and great acting by Charlie. Yeah,
Mm,
I don't know if I share your same enthusiasm for Bullseye. I will tell you, I enjoy him a lot, though.
mm,
I have no problems with him, and I wouldn't put him up against some of the MCU guys, though. Um, Mostly because it is a show.
mm,
As of the TV shows, he's probably one of the best villains we got for
mm,
sure.
mm,
But he's almost not a villain, right? Like he is and he isn't. He's kind of on his own side,
mm,
which is something I actually kind of like about this guy. Although I feel like he's not as smart as he should be. Matt kind of gives it to him in this one. The whole, hey, look, if you kill him, you're just going to martyr him, and that's worse than letting him
mhm,
live. And I think Bullseye should know that, right? Like he should understand that. But of course, I think we're dealing with someone that's a little more unhinged, though,
mhm,
and I think that we need to see a little more of that. So I agree. Give us more Bullseye. Show us a little more of him being a little wild, because I feel like he is wild, and I liked that feel of him. And
mm,
um, yeah, it's a big deal. I think she's dead. I mean, if she's not, then it's a fake out. And how many more of those are you gonna do for us? That's where I start losing. Oh, now you're crying wolf. And that's my issue with TV shows is they do this often. And I'm always gonna be very critical, folks. And I'm sorry. It's just a natural thing in me. I've watched too many TV shows that do this to me, and Marvel's no exception. Just because it's cool and fun, it can still be boring. And this isn't so far. And yeah, I can't wait to see. I mean, he's unhinged now. I mean, what the heck is Fisk gonna do? She's kind of the one that kept him together, really. She kind of held back the dogs, right, in him
mhm,
when it was necessary. And she could call the dogs out of him if she needed to
mhm,
or felt like it was necessary. So now if she's dead, he's gonna just lose. He's just gonna do whatever.
mhm. That's the cool thing I think about this episode that they've really tied into it is that the governor is not on the same side as Wilson Fisk.
No.
And Vanessa goes to visit the governor, and the at the end of their conversation, she says, "I can't get behind Mayor Fisk, but I could get behind Mayor and Mrs. Fisk."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's like it's funny that, I mean, we said in the last episode that she's not as diplomatic as Wilson is type thing, but I think she has a little more so of that in her where she at least, she's showing him, I am an asset to you type thing. And I think that her soft approach to some of these things, against his crass or his demeanor, really it plays again, like I said in the last episode, to a lot of real life events too, where you might not like this one politician, but then you see him with his family, and you're like, oh, they're not that bad, type thing. It's the people you
Yeah.
have around you, and I think that was really cool and pivotal because now you have the governor now backing the mayor because of the wife, and now the wife is dead. Now what's going to happen?
Yeah, I don't know if it's so much is that she's more diplomatic or as if it's the visual of it.
Hmm.
Because we see behind the scenes of her that they don't. If you think
Yeah.
character-wise, they don't see that part of her.
Hmm.
I'll go back and reference the other show that we talked about last time, which was House of
House of Cards.
Cards,
Oh.
where she definitely was not as diplomatic as him, but she definitely helped him get a lot of places because it was her, and she had a good face. But she was definitely the evil of the two of them. She was worse.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know? And that's how I felt with this too, where she puts on that face because she doesn't appear as the evil one. He's got bad guy written all over his face. The way he talks, everyone he's around, everyone knows some people might believe he's doing the right thing for the city, and that's why they voted him in and all that. But the truth is they're all still kind of like, yeah, but I'd believe it if you told me he was corrupt.
Yeah.
But he's still helping. But yeah,
Yeah.
is he corrupt? Of course he is, but it's still working, right? She, though, you'd have to sell that. You'd have to sell that she doesn't look evil, which is the worst kind, I think.
Mhm.
And she's obviously not as evil because she does, when it comes down to their relationship, I think she's the most diplomatic in their relationship. She keeps him from doing wild things, I think. But then once again, that goes to my fear that we're going to get into is, I mean, if it's gonna go all no holds barred, so to say, then what's the end game, right?
Mhm.
Don't promise too many big things because at some point that's gonna run out, and then you're gonna be repeating yourself. And I think you're right. I never say never. There couldn't be a show here without him. That's true. Although
Mhm.
my argument is when you have a show that's, I will say, Daredevil Born Again is working because it is with him.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying you can't end that and move on, but that's a risk you do in a TV show. The Walking Dead did that when they killed off the Shane character. And it kind of didn't do well in some people's eyes afterwards. I had a hard time with it too, because the whole dynamic of that was working. There's lots of shows that if you give the promise of this premise, a good example is like Sons of Anarchy. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, it's as old as hell, guys. Go watch it. It's good to watch, but the issue with the show is the whole idea is the main character finding out that the guy in charge of the bike club really killed his dad, and what was the best parts of the show was him not knowing, but us knowing, and him almost finding out and us seeing how they cover it up over and over again. Some reason partway through this show, they decided we're just going to let him know. And it's, he's vowed that he's going to kill the man who killed his father. And then he finds out who it is. And then we go 5 more seasons of him finding out reasons why not to kill the guy. And frankly, it was kind of like, oh, so that wasn't that important. And that's kind of what it's going to feel like, even if, it's better off if you do end Fisk, you end Fisk and then move on. Don't end it with like, he's still out there, but he just lost his position. Because then it's going to feel like, well, you promised things that you couldn't deliver at this point. It's don't get repetitive, take chances here, get big. If you're going to go big, if you're going to allude to big, then let's get to that big. Don't be like, but there's one more thing, and there's one more thing, and there's one more thing. Because eventually we're going to be like, yeah, there's one more thing like 20 times ago. What's the thing that's going to be that breaking point? And where's the new Avengers and Spider-Man if the Defenders are going to show up? You're just going to have a group of vigilante guys that all out war with the mayor of New York City, and there's no Spider-Man. And I get it, guys. I know I'm complaining. It's like talking into the wind with it because we can't have those characters. But that's kind of like, then why is Punisher in the new Spider-Man movie? And why does he even show up in the Spider-Man MCU proper? So those are my issues I have with it, but I'm trying to do my best to pull back from that because it is a show. So to bring it back and not worry about the bigger picture, because I am so nervous it's so crazy. I have that problem. I get real nervous about the creative decisions they make. I would rather be a slower burn and not give us these big moments and have a big moment ending. Like, to me, this episode felt like a season finale. Not episode 4 of holy cow. I mean, so we're going to go through 3 episodes now of him being distraught that she's dead. And that, folks, is going to get boring for me. Because we know it's cookie cutter. And let's not be cookie cutter, because so far you haven't been. So, and I'm not saying they're going to be. I'm just guessing. You got to have a lot of filler. I mean, so at this point, what's stopping him from saying, I don't even care what people think. I'm in charge. I'm going to do what the hell I want. Other than the Mr. Charles stuff, obviously that stuff's all going to escalate. But how far does it go before you start realizing, okay, you can only hit a pinnacle of something too far where, it's got to stop, or there has to be an end to a character somewhere, So yeah, this felt like wow, what a great season finale. And it's not, so I don't know. That's what I think that's what concerns me, is they're kind of giving us too much of the cake here. It's like, unless they got some ultimate awesome plans, which I'm for, and I'll just make believe Spider-Man and all of them never existed, because we have to in some of these. My concern with the Punisher trailer I had was there's a war going on in the middle of New York City and nobody shows up, so it makes me wonder, okay, I got to take myself out of it, out of that part of it. So just to keep in continuity of the show, yeah, it still makes me go, that would have been a great season finale, because now we got to wait and see how he's going to be, how he's going to react to her dead, whether she's dead or not. We could have a whole half a year wondering even if she's really dead or not.
Yeah.
And to me, that keeps that hype going. It keeps that building. Those slow burn shows do that for a reason, because they know they can't just blow their whole package right there for you. We can't just give you the whole thing right away, So, and I feel like they kind of just played a lot of cards in this episode, which, you know what? That's fine. There are shows that can do that and do real well.
Yeah.
I just don't know if this is that show though yet. I still have that, there's moments where I'm like, this is very drawn out, and don't draw it out too far, because that's where it gets boring, and we're almost there. The cool thing is this episode was just a lot of fun, but could you do this episode again next week? I don't think so.
Mm.
It's like, I don't think so. I think it's you got to start giving us some sort of, I don't know,
Mm.
a path to a resolution, is the best way to go, or don't allude to it at all and let it be something that sets until it comes back, because when you build on something like this, there is an eventual eruption. And if it's not worth it, you're not ever going to feel that it was earned,
Mm-hmm.
so.
Yeah. I mean, we have a little bit of differences there when it came to this, but what's kind of stuck out for me personally is that one of the problems that I think Marvel had at one point, and they've figured out ways to fix it, but I think depending on who's in charge or who's doing this or who's
Yeah.
helming this project, they have to keep this in mind, is after the first Avengers movie, they've now established a bigger universe. And so doing the solo projects, whether it's a movie or a TV show after that, you have to figure out a way, and the Infinity Saga is a great time with figuring out a way that you could do these without having to make them another Avengers level thing. The only misstep I think they had was Iron Man 3, and we'll get to that when we get to that. But for this show, I think that one of the problems would be if you just keep it to that mindset of this is always a bigger universe, then you can't make big crazy things happen if you want to make them happen, because you're always going to think, is Spider-Man going to swing in? Are the Avengers going to come in? Is Black Widow suddenly going to appear, the Yelena Belova version? Which, I mean, for all we know, they could, but whatever. Although we know rights issues with Spider-Man prevent some of that, but that's a him thing and a Sony thing. I think that in the bigger context of these movies and these shows in particular, um, as we're not going to know this until the show is done, like the season is done type thing, and more projects have happened, because we're still at the moment in this point where we have the Daredevil Born Again season 2 happening now, the Punisher directly after that, and Spider-Man Brand New Day, all three projects of which are happening in New York City. As you've said it many times before, poor
Don't
New
live
York
in New
City.
York.
Yeah.
MCU universe, stay out of New York City.
Yeah, it's Hell's Kitchen's hell. It's just it's
Seems like
horrible.
nothing happens in Miami, so go there. Because even DC, stay out of DC. People turning red down there. No, just go to Miami.
Yeah, but anyways, I think we'll have a better viewpoint of where the show is in the grand scale of the universe they've made after Brand New Day, in my opinion, because I don't know if Brand New Day is going to address all those, where Daredevil was, where Punisher was, when that timeline fits.
It doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to, because it's a Spider-Man movie. But at the same time, if Marvel is good at one thing, they are good at being able to connect the universe and, to a degree, make it make sense continuity-wise, because that's one of the things they've strived on is, okay, you could do Guardians of the Galaxy because they're off-world. You could do Thor, his solo project, because he's off-world. And, if you have to keep Captain America here, you're going to add in Black Widow and Nick Fury because it's a bigger universe now. You can't just do a solo Captain America movie without expecting some of these other characters to show up. So, with that said, we don't know about Daredevil's corner of the MCU. He is the new face on the block for this. We have already seen him in the Spider-Man No Way Home movie know of Peter Parker. Well, at this moment, he doesn't know. No one knows, which is probably a beauty for the show, is that he doesn't have to think, oh, I'm going to ask Spider-Man, because Daredevil's doing his own thing against Mayor Fisk. Spider-Man is still kind of like a semi-Avenger doing his own thing, which we don't really know what he's doing now until we see his movie. Because for all we know, he could be in hiding this whole time. Or doing low-key things. And most of this, yes, this is in New York City, but he's the devil of Hell's Kitchen. So a lot of his home base and home stuff is in Hell's Kitchen, whereas Luke Cage is in Harlem and Jessica Jones is in, I don't know where she is. But we'll find out probably in the next episode, to be honest. Because New York City is much bigger. And I think, if I remember right, he's from Queens, Peter Parker, whereas Steve Rogers is from Brooklyn. Yeah. So it's still New York City, guys, of course, and they're going to go into all these other boroughs, but maybe they are trying to make New York City this big battleground, and he's doing his part over here and he's doing his part there, and we probably just won't know all that until it's done.
Well, and I don't think they've done anything yet that makes you think you have to bring them in yet. But it's just like you're getting there, though. Like you're getting to a thing. I mean, and sometimes it's as simple as mentioning something is all you need to do. I would feel so much better if, like, during some of like in the beginning of Born Again, some of the campaign of why he's doing this vigilante thing has something to do with what happened in Thunderbolts. What a great campaign thing to use. Hey, you remember when that thing was up in the sky and we all like disappeared into our worst thoughts possible for a little bit of time? Yeah, people saved us, but it's that kind of stuff I'm trying to prevent. I'd vote for that guy too. You know, all you gotta do is mention that. Just mention it. You know, and it's not mentioned though. We literally had to look up when this took place. We shouldn't have to do that when we're watching the show, you know. But once again, they're not asking us to watch Daredevil in order to watch the movies either. And I'm with you on what you're saying. Everyone's got their section of the city, but you're talking about Spider-Man, and he knows what's going on. He's doing his thing. I think we're going into the new Spider-Man movie where we're going to see that he's been kicking butt for a while as Spider-Man.
I think if you
I think when you got things exploding, you got a guy like Bullseye that kills a bunch of guys in a diner. Spider-Man's looking into it, you know. But that's okay because, like I said, I will separate it. It's just low enough crime stuff that they're doing well enough. It's low enough. But when you start involving Mr. Charles and now we know who he works for, now you're already stepping into some MCU territory there. So I just don't like the fact that they use it willy-nilly, where it's like we're only going to use the MCU stuff when it's going to help us in our story. That it has to work both ways. You can't. I don't like that they use MCU proper movie stuff to push a story along in a TV show, and then they decide not to do it in the movies when they don't want to for the shows because they don't want to confuse us. But actually, you're confusing us more than you are helping us. So we're going to see MCU proper things come into TV shows a heck of a lot more than we do into the movies, really. You know,
but isn't that what we wanted? We didn't want to have to watch the show.
Yeah, but they got to tell us that's what we're getting. You know, they got to give us that warning, right? Like, because we don't know. Because if she's in this or if she's mentioned in this, you know, her character, and then she's in Thunderbolts, I mean, it's like, at what point do they mesh, right? Especially if you're going to have a group of defenders show up. You know, it's going to get somebody's attention, especially hers, because there's nefarious stuff going on here with the Mr. in this episode. They're clearly, I personally think that they're smuggling weapons through New York City, and the Kingpin is someone that allows them to do it because he's corrupt and they know it, and Mr. Charles is there to keep him in line. And they're smuggling these weapons so they can finance wars overseas, because that's what, unfortunately, guys, today, a lot of countries do all the time. And the U.S. has been one that's done that before, too. And especially if you're corrupt in government, you know, it's been that before. And this, I can't remember her name. What's her name again? Keep saying she, and you're all
Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
Thank you. Yeah, and obviously she's up to no good, right? We know she's up to no good, you know? She's just in a position of power right now. So, yeah, it's just a matter of when does that mesh then? And if they do mesh, and they already mesh in the movies more than they do in the shows, which kind of bugs me. We got Punisher showing up in Spider-Man just willy-nilly. And we haven't even seen the Punisher special yet, which it looks great. But like I said, even in the trailer reaction I did, I'm kind of getting a little old of this Punisher that's kind of whiny a little. Like, I get don't get me wrong. I know you guys are like, whoa, this guy's got a black heart. It's like, yeah. Yeah, hot take, guys, but come on, suck it up, Frank. You know, it's like he's obviously how many people you gotta kill in order to be like, okay, I get it. Can't bring my son back and blah, 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 or daughter, whatever. You know what I mean? And his wife. I get it. But after a while, it's like, okay, just be the Punisher. Just be him. Accept the fact that you aren't going to eat a bullet and that you're going to kill bad guys and be that. And that's probably what he's going to do in Spider-Man. I bet we don't hear a lot about his family stuff in Spider-Man. Maybe we do a little bit between him and Peter talking, maybe. But ultimately, I bet we don't. But it's like, I look at that Punisher special, I'm like, yeah, that looks fun, but it looks like, oh, we've kind of covered this, right? Like, we get it, man. You got PTSD from the war, your family's dead, I get it. How long do you want to play that tortured character before let the tortured character become the essence of who you are then? And so, yeah, I'm kind of hoping that it levels out at some point, but we're not going to talk about that till we see it. Might be different and epic. It looks good. Still, I'm going to watch it.
Mhm.
Violence looks great. He's cool as Punisher. You
Mhm.
just kind of like, yeah, suck it up, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. It's not me having a black heart, but like I said, my version of the Punisher that I love from 2004. At the end of the movie, he's gotten revenge on his family, and everything's all done. And instead of offing himself, he says, "You know what? I'm going to spend the rest of my life just murdering people that do bad things." And you can kind of tell that. Sure, he probably has sleepless nights over losing his family, but he hides it with a bottle and a gun. And I'm like, that's the Punisher I want. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of what Punisher is. When you go read those comics, man, he's just a drunk guy out there killing dudes. And it's like, cool, that's fun, And so, yeah, either way, Daredevil, I mean, I think they're great in this. I love the boxing stuff in this. And the boxing thing is like always been a thing in Daredevil, right?
Mhm.
When you look at the old comics and stuff, Kingpin's always boxing somebody. There's even comic books where
Well,
Daredevil and him are boxing together.
Matt Murdock's father was a boxer.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like ingrained in Daredevil
The
lore.
lore, yeah.
Yeah, I think. Oh, now that you're touching upon it, I love how the show has played up to, because it's very how do I say this properly? Um, Good political ops for the Kingpin, because he's mayor. Not everyone likes him. Some people like him, so he's putting on this face. There's this
Yeah.
propaganda machine going on to keep people liking his anti-vigilante task force, even though he's put in martial law.
Mhm.
So I think that just played into it to be like, oh, and you could tell how the announcer announced him and all that stuff. They're very friendly to his administration type thing. Like, this is something that is a good PR stunt at the end of the day.
Yeah, I wish we'd see more of why people like him because we just keep seeing the dark side of him, and I kind of wish there was a little more play with. Well, I can see why he's winning some people because I don't know.
Mhm.
We only see the bad stuff.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of the point of the show, is that
Oh, I get it.
we're supposed to, as the audience,
Yeah.
because we know he's the bad guy, see all the corrupt stuff he's doing. But yeah, I do agree. I think that'll be cool to see what would his 60-minute interview look like, type thing.
Let's
Like,
see a moment where you can see why he won that crowd over.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that would be cool. And the original Daredevil show on Netflix, I think they did touch upon some of that stuff in the first season. So,
They did. Yeah.
that it'll be cool. Yeah, I agree, to bleed that into this one now, and you see it more so. But I just thought it was the whole boxing scene
It's great.
is oh my gosh. I was like
And you notice how it
on the edge
mirrored
of my
her
seat.
dying, like she's all in white with that red is the same, like how she got him that painting, which was
Yes.
the bird with the white and the red. Yeah, it's like it's very poetic. They're doing these writers know what they're
Yeah.
doing,
Well, just the boxer thing. I don't know if
Oh,
the
yeah.
boxer alive or not. I mean,
And he
that
messed him up. Yeah.
yeah, and they were promoting him as this, he's always had a winning streak, like a big class thing. And I'm like, oh, I part of me kept thinking, I bet Kingpin's gonna go a little soft on him because it's a PR stunt after all. As soon as he saw Vanessa walk in, it was like he already was like fighting
Amped.
him. He was already amped. I think part of me thinks, honestly, Kingpin misses it. That's why he's doing it, because now he could do it and get away with it because it's a PR boxing thing.
Well,
But
ultimately, he's
yeah.
a bad guy that is violent.
Yeah.
And this is his way of being violent in public and not being
Yep.
a bad guy.
Yeah.
I don't think he killed the guy. I think he messed him up. Like
He definitely messed him up.
But I don't think he killed him. I don't think that would go well, with the public.
Yeah.
But he definitely put him to sleep.
We'll
guys.
definitely need to see what the repercussions are in the next
Yeah.
episode, because
And
I
if you
wonder what
notice,
that is.
Bullseye didn't really kill her. He did by deflecting
Mhm.
what he threw with his belt, and the pieces from that he deflected it with is what killed her. So I'm not
torn at that.
I know
personally.
I know if Bullseye wasn't doing it, then it wouldn't happen. That's true. But I think that's a very key. I think it's very key though to look forward, thinking about. I think he's
think-
going to feel guilt over it.
I
as
think
well.
Bullseye calculated it because of how he never misses. I
Yeah, but
think
that's a little reaching, don't you
It-
think?
it
'Cause
might be
you'd
a
have
little
to trust that
reaching,
he was
but-
going to do that, and I don't
Yeah.
know. I got you. I don't think so. I think if
that
Bullseye
just
was
might
going
be
to,
me.
I think if Bullseye was going to kill her, he just killed her.
Mhm.
I know he wants to kill him too, but I don't think he'd try to mask it. There's no reason. The idea of him doing what he's been doing, why would he try to make it look like he wasn't killing her? I think if he was going to kill her, she'd have been dead too because of him doing it. I think he tried to kill him and he deflected it, and the deflection of it ended up killing her. And that's what's going to make him feel guilty because she came to the thing. He didn't want her there. She came anyways. He lost his cool, punched the guy out, wasn't thinking, hit the thing, and it killed her. And he's going to think, you did this to me, when really it's a lot of his own fault that it's happening. I think you're going to see some guilt from him out of that because they're going to milk that for a couple episodes of the guilt of it. And I think that that's smart to do, honestly, because I think that's the side of Kingpin we need to see. And that we've kind of getting alluded to this, some of the good in him, that if there is any, there's some of it is going to come out of, he can't deny the fact that, well, that came from me hitting that, even though he's not going to ever admit that, and he's going to blame Bullseye, right? Which technically it is Bullseye's fault, I guess. But semantics, right? But if she was the intended target, I don't see why Bullseye would mess around to make it look like she's not. Like, why? Just get her right outright. I don't think she was supposed to be there.
No, she wasn't.
I think Bullseye was there to kill him. Because I don't think he thought she was going to be there either. So I think it is all just oh, wow, I can't believe that just happened.
I think that, we'll have to replay it to confirm it, but I think that when Bullseye threw that glass thing, he was throwing it at Vanessa, and Kingpin blocked it, but in blocking it, broke it, and pieces still hit her.
Okay, I feel like I saw it differently. We'd have to watch it to see, but okay.
Yeah, but that's from what I remember of it. Because I just remember when I was watching it in the moment thinking, oh, he saved his wife. It just broke into pieces. And then the reality of when the camera turned right and you see one of the glass crystals stuck in her head, it was like, oh, you didn't save her.
Right.
She still got hit. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Right?
But that's what I would have.
Comment below, guys. Who is he going for? Maybe they want us to wonder. Because I definitely saw it like he was trying to kill him.
Yeah.
I don't think he thought she was going to be there. And then when she comes up out of nowhere like that, it was like, oh. But at the same time, I just feel it goes along with the argument that him and Matt were having about whether they should kill him or not. I thought that was the whole idea. So. Interesting. See, maybe they did that on purpose. Maybe they want you to wonder.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an answer that'll never be answered. They've done that in some movies I like, where you see a point of view and you see another point of view and you're kind of like, oh no, which one? Even you as a viewer start questioning yourself on, what does that mean? So interesting.
Yeah, we're very curious. I mean, I'm very curious exactly to see what that was about and who killed who. And to our listening audience, by the way, I did pull up the clip real quick just for us to see a moment to clarify who did what, who was doing what type thing. And
by the way, the action in this scene is great. The cinematography, the choreography of the fighting is fantastic. I love how things are flying around. Daredevil looks cool. There's a lot of fun stuff going on in this episode. Like I said, it feels like a season finale, don't it? Like it's got that season finale flair to it that is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. It was quite the vision to see how they put this all together, and I can only imagine the writer's room when they're writing this all down, like how is this gonna look and things like that. But he picks up this little.
Yeah, he picks it up. He's looking at him. Boy, his costume is great.
His costume is fantastic. So he's throwing it now. She shoots him. It hits him, so he did get shot, but that is going towards Vanessa.
I don't know. I don't think she's right next to him.
Actually, it does look like it's going towards him.
Yeah, because where is she? Right. She's not near her at all.
Yeah, she's at the other end of the ring, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah.
Oh, but I think it's him he's going for.
I think you're right. As I'm
look
watching,
what he's throwing at him. He's throwing this thing he's going to kill him with the logo Born Again of New York City.
It's
his own logo thing. He's going to kill him with his own thing.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. So guys, definitely comment down below. What do you think? What do you think if this was like Bullseye's intention of getting to Vanessa through Fisk and doing that? Because that was my theory in the beginning. Was like, oh, I bet he threw it, but his intention was it was going to go off. But I don't know if they were that he's that calculating to do it like that. You know,
I don't
think.
I think that's
because-
quite a trick. That's a trick.
Yeah.
He's done some really cool stuff that makes me go, wow, you got to be like superhuman.
yeah,
Which he is,
Mhm.
obviously. But
Yeah.
like that would have been a hell of a trick. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I'm more curious of, and we haven't gotten that yet in either season 1 or season 2 of Born Again, is at the end of the Netflix show of Daredevil season 3, Bullseye's paralyzed. And then
That's right.
it showed the scene of the little Bullseye with the lasers and all that stuff. So you know, okay, it's Bullseye. And they're doing something to fix him. I'm not sure what it was. I don't recall they ever even explained that, but I don't think in the show they've explained how he's been able to come back to normal.
I can give you an answer to that, which I think I've noticed now that I've been watching the show with you. I think we're in a soft reboot. I think what that means is
Forget that part.
yeah, they want you to remember the characters because they're going to bring the same back and they're going to have things that it's all happened. But the soft reboot part of it is we're going to pick and choose what we really care about meant. You know, X-Men did this with Xavier a couple times, soft reboot of, hey, let's forget they killed him because that was dumb. You know what I mean? And you know what? We all just we're okay, whatever. You know what I mean? And then they thankfully Singer knew enough to do a whole movie to make that make sense.
Yeah.
But at the time it was like, oh, didn't he just die in X-Men 3? No. We're gonna pretend that he didn't.
Yeah.
Which is fine because it was dumb, right? He shouldn't have. And or at least that way. I mean, it's okay if he killed him, but that way? Okay, anyway, we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
What the hell? Anyway, so yeah. But yeah, no, I think you're looking at a soft reboot. So it's like that's an answer that do you need an answer for this to be good and continue on? I don't think you do.
No. If that's the case, this is just part of their soft reboot and doing it, then I feel like this is the only aspect that they decided we're just going to forget about. You know?
Yeah.
And that happens in movies. Just like Xavier's a good example that we didn't watch Days of Future Past thinking the whole time, how's Xavier there? We were just happy he's
we
there.
didn't care. Yeah.
It just was. If anything, it was part of the reason why they did the movie is fixing some of the sins of the past type thing.
Right.
So, anyways.
Yeah, no, and I'm all for it, to be honest. I'm all for the soft reboot stuff. It can happen. You can do it. And they're doing it right because it's compelling and it's good. You know, and the stuff that they want us to forget about, I think, are things that we can easily say, yeah, it really isn't a big deal if you think about
Although I'm going to say to the creators, if you're listening to this or anyone on the staff there that's listening to this, don't do a soft reboot on Elektra. I loved her in season 2 of the Netflix Daredevil, and I want to see that actress come back.
I think you're going to get the same actress. I think it's going to be all the same stuff. They're just not going to do any building off of what they started before.
Yeah.
They're just going to expect that you liked what they had before, and they'll build off of that.
Yeah.
And then they'll go forward. So if there's any unanswered questions of hers, don't expect them to get answered.
Yeah,
That's
just
what a soft
expect
reboot
she's
does.
coming in,
Just
but it's
expect
not.
she's coming,
Yeah.
and she just has new things now. I think because that's what a soft reboot would be. And that's what they've been doing.
Yeah.
I mean, you might get a recast. I doubt it, you know, but
Yeah. Well, I
you
doubt
get a recast on what's on Vanessa.
that's the thing that I doubt they're going to recast her only for that point, because when they tried to start Daredevil Born Again and they were saying it's a reboot on them, but they're using the same main 2 actors.
Yeah.
And then they didn't have Karen in it at all and Foggy. And then all of a sudden during COVID, and this was on the Escape Pod podcast when he was talking about this too, is that they saw the footage during the strikes, not COVID, it was during the strikes. And they said that we need to, we're either going to go full on in or we're not going to do it. And they had too good of a show in the Daredevil Netflix show. They had to admit that, and these actors and everything was beautifully done. They were like, we're just going to go full on in. That's how we got the show we got now. So I don't think they are going to recast Elektra when they do make her appear. They might do a little soft rebooting of her origin or not even her origin, but of the events that happened to her to a degree. Crazy things if you watch the original Netflix show of Daredevil and Defenders. Elektra is a big part of season 2 of Daredevil and a big part of the Defenders, but I don't know if we'll see how we're going to see them build off that. If anything, if they're smart for storytelling wise, they'll use what happened to her in Defenders to do their own soft reboot without having to worry about the other stuff.
Yeah, and like I said,
you have to watch that to see.
With soft reboots, you really don't even have to. Just they're there.
Yeah.
They
but
each other.
When you watch
remember
Defenders,
that time? Sounds good. You know,
yeah.
It's all you got to do.
When you watch the Defenders, you'll get what I mean by that, with what they did with her. But anyways, to conclude for this segment of the Branch Point breakdown of Daredevil Born Again season 2, episode 4. Well, how would you conclude it?
Oh yeah, great episode. This, like I said, felt like a season finale, which all season finales need to be good, and this one was a really good one. And obviously it's not a season finale. And I promise folks, I'm not going to go on a rant every single time we do an episode of why it doesn't fit in with the bigger picture. I'm going to reprieve myself from that and just take this as a show as it goes until they do something outrageous that makes me go, hey guys, what are we doing? But until then, I'm fine with it. I like it. I've been enjoying it. I didn't think I'd like Daredevil as much as I do now. Of course, I'm a defender of the old Ben Affleck movie too. It's not good, but it's not bad. It's not as bad as they make it sound. They really make it sound terrible, but there's some really good stuff in that old movie. So, which I look forward to doing when we do our thing, because that'll be a fun one to pick apart and have fun. But with this show, I like this version of it better than I do the Netflix version. I do think it does revolve around Fisk and and Matt Murdock. It's a very integral thing.
I agree.
If that storyline comes to an end, it's got to be very well earned and very at a peak. I don't think it's something, you can't just put this guy in jail and let's just move on a normal day. I really think that would be doing the story a disservice.
I agree to that, because I think we've seen that in the Netflix Daredevil.
Yeah,
they put him in jail. They did the whole thing. Then he ended up being able to control the FBI. So then he got out. Now he's Mayor Fisk. So I do feel like if they
can't
only
repeat these things,
there's only like 2 end results for Mayor Fisk at this point, in my opinion. It's either death, like an actual death type thing, or it's putting him in the Supermax prison, because he wasn't there before, because no one thought of him as a Supermax villain. But now you've integrated the MCU with this show and everything, that you have those as an option now. He could go where Abomination was sitting. But
I think the only other thing you could do that you might be able to get away with is he kind of gets away and we don't know where he is.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of
that would be a little cheap, but at the very least, then he can come back later. It's like, oh my God, he's behind it again.
That's what they allude to
in
the Echo show, because that's kind of how they explained him away from the Netflix Daredevil to the Disney Plus Daredevil. Is that where has he been in New York City? If he's still a presence, he's been doing, which Echo probably shouldn't have just ever been made. Honestly, that's my hot take. But anyways,
I agree.
Sorry.
I just feel like he's a big enough and liked enough character by the fans that you don't want to kill him.
Well, talk about soft
unless
reboots.
You're ending, right?
Talk about soft reboots. At the end of the Hawkeye show, Echo straight up shoot him and looks like it kills him.
Yeah, I know.
And now he doesn't even have a scar about that, or at least no mention about it. Yes, exactly. So it's like,
or it's not even his campaign say I almost died before. Like, I mean, that's so many things.
I think that's a good idea. If they made a mistake in that show for that reason, they made a mistake, and they're like, we're just gonna forget about this part now, because you can't kill the Kingpin like that in his Marvel MCU debut.
Which is why they've never really been able to kill Loki, right? It's not because it's not because the story always calls for it. It's because everybody likes him, you know?
Yeah.
So if you kill him, it's got to be epic enough.
Yes.
And we technically did see the death of the Loki we know. And it was epic.
It was epic, yeah.
But even
just
then,
like
they
Thanos,
still we still got to have this character because he's really cool. So they still brought him back in a different way, which I think is earned and worked. Did very risky, but worked. So yeah, but how many times you gonna be able to get away with that? You know what I mean? I feel like it was funny because I always give the MCU issues. I say, listen, don't be afraid to kill people. Because that makes better storytelling. But at the same time, I'm gonna also say, but when you do, make sure they're dead, for one, and for two, make it worth earned death. Make it an earned thing. That's why I don't want Robert Downey Jr. to ever play Iron Man ever again. There's no way in my mind that you could end his storyline better than they have. We'll get there, folks, but that is true to me. We're just gonna bring him back and using time, and here he is, he's alive, and he can have his daughter back and stuff, and I'm gonna be boo-hoo. I love him. I don't want him gone, but how perfect, right?
Yeah.
So and I think that's what we need to do. If you're gonna end Kingpin and end him, make it good and keep him gone, and move forward. If you're not, then
All right. Well,
Yeah.
with that said, guys, that was our breakdown in our Branch Point breakdown segment of our Goodell Multiverse podcast.
That's right.
So please stay tuned. Next up, we're talking about Thor 1, the film, in a retrospective way.
Oh, yeah.